Meeting of the City Council. Thank you all for coming. It's about 6:02. I'd like to get started, so we'll start by letting anyone know if you would like to make comments on the agenda for non-agenda items. Be sure to get a slip and hand it to our city clerk, either for before for on or during the council meeting for a specific item. Please let the clerk know. You have 3 minutes to speak. Please speak really close to the mic because we have difficulty hearing. The public has a difficulty hearing, so speak into the mic and state your name for the record. So at this point, we'll call the meeting to order at 6:02, and we'll have the clerk do a roll call.
Councilmember Cundiff,
Here.
Councilmember Garcia,
Here.
Councilmember Manley,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Cervantes,
Here.
Mayor Molina.
Yes. And let the record show that our city manager, Coble, is here, our city attorney Barrow is here, our city clerk, Gertis is here, Director Reed is here, planning director Lucia is here, interim public works director Shakir is here, engineer Thornton is here, fire chief O'Connell, and Sheriff Captain Northrop. Thank you all for coming. At this point, I'd like to ask Lion President Tony Phillips if he would lead us in the pledge. Thank you, Tony. Darlene, do we have any requests to speak? Okay. We don't have any communications from the public. So at this point, I would like to have a motion to approve the agenda, consent calendar, and waiver of full readings of ordinances.
I'll move to approve the agenda, consent calendar, and waiver of full readings of ordinances.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 5-0. Thank you. So that's consent items 1 through 10. Okay, so that brings us to our Calamasa Chamber of Commerce report. Lion, Tony Phillips.
Thank you, Mayor Molina. I just would like to first off congratulate the new council members in their election. Welcome them to the city council. As it's amazing to see how quickly things move right along. So it's going to be exciting next year, the next few years working with you. I do want to first state the Christmas parade. I want to thank the city for their involvement in making it such a successful event again. I want to thank the fire department and the sheriff's department for their contributions to it. The sheriff's department were great in closing off the road, keeping us safe in the staging area and along the parade route. I understand being stuck in the staging area, there's a crowd of people there, but I don't get to see what the rest of the parade attendance is. So from word of mouth, I'm hearing that there were quite a few. That was possibly our largest gathering for the parade. So again, very successful. The staging area went very smoothly, so I was real happy about that. Going into the report, our December breakfast meeting featured guest speaker Melissa Monroe from the Fraternity of Monroe and Woodman. It was very well attended. Our January breakfast will be January 14th, 7:30 a.m. It'll be held at the Cafe Royale. That's the second Tuesday of January. Danae wanted me to mention that the Chamber participated in the annual Christmas in Calamasa tree lighting event. That was a lot of fun that night. I was one of the handing out the hot cocoa, and we were doing s'mores in here. Actually, we were able to raise $143 in donations for our scholarship fund, so that was very nice. And then our annual Christmas light parade, which I touched on. Looking forward to next year. The Calamasa Chamber is seeking individuals to join our board of directors. Anyone interested In becoming a board member, you must be a current member of the Calamasa Chamber and commit to a 2-year term. For more information, please contact our Executive Assistant, Donna, at the Chamber office. Our next event coming up is the Installation and Community Awards Dinner. That'll be held on January 30th at 6 p.m. We'll be hosted a dinner at the Plantation on the Lake. Tickets are available on the website. We currently signed 1 new member this month, 5 new membership renewals, and our total membership now is at 139. Any questions for me on the chamber?
I just want to say it's always so great working with Lime. I'm a Lime myself, and so I know the hard work that he does, that you always go above and beyond to work with the city, and you're totally inclusive, and the staff loves it, and it works very well. The public benefits by it,
Yeah.
all the coordination.
Take off my chamber hat, put on my Lions hat. Yeah, one of the things that I focused with our club is the fact that we need to get more involved, get the community more involved with what Lions do here in the community, and then also work with the city and other organizations to promote the community of growth. So, the projects that we've done this year, obviously in Myrtlewood, I buy there, my office is right by there, so I see it every day. And we are getting some vandalism there, which is sad to see, but we'll take care of that on Wednesday after our meeting. But yeah, it's a commitment that we're making as a club to give back to the community right here. It's one of our focuses. We focus a lot on vision, on diabetes care, food to the hungry, and so we want to be able to continue doing that stuff, and we have to fundraise in order to make those things happen. So we had our ice cream social for the toy drive at the Oddball Ice Cream. That was a lot of fun. We collected a whole truck bed full of toys. So that was the start of the toy drive kind of thing, and I understand that's this Saturday, the toy drive, for the Night of Giving at Mesa View Middle School. So we're looking forward to being there for that. I'll have my red shirt on, and Will, you'll have yours on too, right?
I'll have a green one.
Oh, you
actually,
get
yeah.
a green one?
I got a green one.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll stand next to each other. So, okay, but that's yeah, really looking forward to Saturday night's event. If you can, anybody, show up to that. It's an incredible night for seeing all these kids get super happy over a ton of toys. So,
So how you flip your hat back to chamber.
Okay.
There's a new business in town, at the, actually, where the chamber office is.
yes,
A soft opening, a happy medium.
happy mediums.
It's for breakfast and lunch. I stopped by there.
Yeah,
A little small. I took my great grandbaby and she was running all over the place. But
Yeah.
the food was good. It's different. Everybody should try it. Happy medium.
happy mediums. That's right. Yep.
I asked whether they were interested in driving cars. They were looking.
Yeah, I pushed them too.
Oh, good. Okay. That was not bad.
Any other?
Thank you.
Just
very much.
thank you
Thank you,
for
guys.
everything you do.
Okay, that brings us to item. Oh, my mic went, okay. That brings us to business item number 11, second reading and adoption of ordinance 406, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Calamasa, California, amending the Calamasa Municipal Code, Chapter 8.45, regulating to fireworks, and second reading and adoption of ordinance 407, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Calamasa, adopting amendments to the 2022 edition of the California Fire Code related to open and outdoor burning, and amending Title 15 of the Calamasa Municipal Code regarding the same. And so I'd like,
I will actually take that item.
excuse me?
I will take that item.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. So I just wanted to clarify, normally, as you know, a second reading for an ordinance is usually just on consent. As you recall, at the last meeting, there was some question as to the distance for a barbecue, whether it was 15 or 50. We have clarified it in the second reading here that is 15, So that is what is presented tonight. So staff is recommending approval based on what is presented here, and then it will go into effect 30 days after adoption. That's my report.
Thank you. Do we have any comments on this item?
No.
Okay, so I'll accept a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion that City Council conduct the second reading by title only and adopt ordinance 406, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Calimesa, California, amending the Calimesa Municipal Code, Chapter 8.45, regulating fireworks. And number 2, conduct second reading by title only and adopt ordinance 407, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Calimesa, adopting amendment to the 2022 edition of the California Fire Code related to open and outdoor burning, and amending Title 15 of the Calimesa Municipal Code regarding the same.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, 5-0. Thank you. Okay, item number 12, City Commission appointments. I'll turn this over to Darlene.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council. Calimasa Municipal Code, Chapter 2.20 provides for the regulations and processes of city-established commissions and boards, and this evening there is a need to make various appointments to the various city commissions. Each member of council makes an appointment to each of the commissions, which are the Library Commission, Parks, Trails, and Community Services Commission, and the Planning Commission. The appointee's term is consistent with the appointing council member's term of 4 years. Each of the three commissions have 3 vacancies, and applications have been received and were included in your agenda packet. If any member of the council is not ready to make an appointment this evening, your appointment may be deferred to a later date. If any member of council has a particular person in mind to fill a vacant seat, but their application has not been received yet by the city clerk, that person will need to complete a citizen service application, which is available on the city's website or in the front lobby of City Hall. Once new applications are received and if vacancies still exist, they will be brought to a future council meeting for consideration of appointment. Appointments will be made to one commission at a time. I will ask each of the council members who their intended appointment will be. Once all appointments have been identified, then the resolution will need to be adopted to ratify the appointments and must be approved by a majority vote of the council. If there's not a majority vote in favor of one or more appointees, then the resolution will only approve the appointment or appointments receiving a majority vote. The Library Commission has 3 vacancies. 2 applications were received by the December 9th deadline. The Parks, Trails, and Community Services Commission has 3 vacancies. 3 applications were received by the December 9th deadline. And the Planning Commission has 3 vacancies and 6 applications were received by the December 9th deadline. The Mobile Home Rent Stabilization Board has 7 vacancies, 5 member positions and 2 alternate. 4 applications have been received for the mobile home park resident representative. However, no other applications have been received for any of the other positions. Therefore, staff's going to request that we continue this to a future meeting where we have, and we'll bring that back. We'll continue to post the vacancies, and we'll bring that back at a later date. So with that, I will start with the Library Commission. And again, there are 3 vacancies, but only 2 applications were received from Terry Andrews and Deborah Zeilman. They have currently served their terms on the commission. And I will start with Council Member Cundiff. And if you could let me know who your intended appointment would be.
Thank you. My intended appointee will be Terry Andrews.
Okay, and then we'll move to Council Member Garcia. Have you made a decision? Are you ready to make an appointment tonight, or?
I actually don't have one, but
Okay.
if Linda doesn't have one, I can appoint the one second one that I've submitted their application.
Okay, for Deborah?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And now we'll move to Mayor Molina.
I have an appointment to make, but the application was submitted, but not to make this evening, so we'll handle that at the January meeting.
Okay. Okay, so if we can then have a motion to adopt Resolution 2024-69.
Okay. I'll take a motion to ratify Terry Andrews and Deborah Lang Zeilman for library commissioners.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye, 5-0.
Thank
Okay.
you. All right, we will now move on to the Parks, Trails, and Community Services Commission. There are 3 vacancies. 3 applications were received from Howard Reeves, Ronna Robertson Smith, and Donna Johnson. And I will start again with Councilmember Cundiff.
Thank you. I would like to put forward Howard Reeves.
Okay. And Councilmember Garcia.
I want to appoint Ronna Robertson Smith.
Okay, Mayor Molina.
And so I'll appoint Donna Johnson.
Okay, now if we can adopt Resolution 2024-70.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution number 2024-70, confirming.
And that's with 3, with Reeves, Smith, and Johnson.
Correct.
Okay.
Is it Robertson Smith or just Smith? Robertson. I just want to make that correction. Thank you.
I'm sorry, who was the second on that?
I didn't hear a second.
I'll second.
I can second, and I can
Thank
second
you.
that too.
So was that Edgar or John?
I have John.
Okay. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye. Okay. So that's approved 5-0.
Okay, so we will move now to the Planning Commission. There are 3 vacancies. 6 applications have been received by Mike Barron, Michael Newcomb, Donna Johnson, Jennifer Taylor, Christine Van Heining, and David Zates. And I will start again with Councilmember Cundiff.
Thank you. I would like to put forward and nominate Mike Newcomb.
Okay. Councilmember Garcia?
I want to nominate David Sates. And then if I can get an opportunity to do a small speech on behalf of the applicant.
Yeah, you'll have a time for some discussion. All right, and Mayor Molina.
I appoint Mike Barron.
Okay, and we will need to adopt resolution number 2024-71.
I'll make the motion for the resolution, but only for 2 members, for Mike Newsom and Mike Barron.
I'll second that.
We'll call for the vote. No? Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Is there any discussion on these?
And Mayor Molina, please, I think your microphone is not on.
Why are we doing it for 3 instead of 2, or 2 instead of 3?
Yes, I do not agree with one of the appointments.
See, so we approved the 2 and then,
Yes, so my motion is to approve Mike Newsom and Mike Barron for Planning Commission,
And
not
I-
David.
And then I seconded that.
second, so, yeah, all in
So-
favor. I'm okay with those 2. But then are we going to do another vote for the 3rd?
So there's discussion. Councilman Edgar wanted to speak.
Okay. So I was preparing for this moment. So I made actually a speech because I prepared myself for this. So colleagues, today I'm proud to present an appointee who experiencing qualifications speaks volumes about his ability to contribute meaningful to our city planning department. David Sates brings a wealth of knowledge with decades of dedication public under multiple City of Los Angeles administration, including Brady, Riordan, Han, Villagrosa, and Garcetti. His background in economics and community development is unparalleled. From his work in the community development department, assisting businesses to expand and create jobs through programs like LIP and HUD and UDAC, and his role in the city administrative officer of office managing the municipal facility budget, David has constantly demonstrated his capacity to navigate complex financial and development projects. As a leader in the Los Angeles Housing Department, David managed a $750 million portfolio supporting affordable housing and oversaw multi-family and single-family development projects. His risk management expertise and legal compliance work further highlight his attention to detail and commitment to accountability. David's diverse experience reflects a deep understanding of housing development and economic policy, exactly the expertise that we need to guide our city's future growth through fully and responsibility. I'm confident that his proven leadership and dedication will serve the people of the city well, ensuring that we plan for smart, sustainable development that benefits everyone. My colleagues to join me in supporting for David Sates for the appointments. His qualifications are unmatched, and his results are driven track records makes him the right person to help shape the future of our community. And I understand there's been some things happening, but like I mentioned, the Fourth Amendment is very important. Public speaking up for the community, that's number one. So as leaders, we need to listen to our community. Anything that any residents of the city of Calumet has to say, we have to listen. We have to provide information back to our community, as well with, as leaders, we're going to be in situations that people are going to speak up, or they might have, for example, misinformation, but we're here to guide them back and provide that information back so they can actually be well informed. So I just wanted to leave it to that. Thank you, guys.
So my motion is to approve Commissioner Newsom and Barron. Do we have a second? And so we'll call for the vote.
Well, I would like to amend that to also add David Jace to that.
So are you making a second amendment?
Yes, all to approve all three.
I'm just going to add some comments as we're still going to discuss, but I think not disputing necessarily qualifications and some of your concerns as far as everyone wants to make sure that the community is heard. I think the key issue here, where I have a specific issue, is just understanding the role of the planning commissioner, and then it's also at times our role as well as city council members. So when it comes to land use and these private owners of land, it's about being fair and unbiased and being impartial. Our role in that situation. So, and that's, I think it gets complicated and harder for the community to understand, but it's very important because we're talking about the constitutional rights of those property owners. So they're protected under the 14th Amendment to due process, and it's our duty and our role in those circumstances to protect those rights. And I think that's very important to understand. So that's my concern. I want to make sure that we are protecting those rights of every property owner here that in this city. So for that reason, I'm not sure that's where I'm afraid it's not going to necessarily happen with this appointee. So for that reason, I would rather have somebody that certainly can vote. I don't know if they're going to be have to recuse themselves based on comments and statements that have been made where they've biased themselves, where they have to recuse. And now we have a commissioner that can't vote, and I certainly don't want property owners' rights to be ignored based on maybe a lack of understanding of the situation or a personal agenda of any kind. So I think those constitutional rights supersede all of that. So I would prefer not to appoint that particular person. I'd like to search for someone else.
Totally understand where you're coming from, but he does have the background and the understanding of the policy and the land use of the owners. Like, for example, I myself, I can speak in behalf of myself. I have no experience as a council member, but I have the leadership, and as I go, basing on these meetings, I'm going to learn as I go, and I have the team as a support system to teach me those routes. I will definitely do the same thing with my appointee, and he has the leadership as well too. He was the assistant director at the city of LA, and he is retired, but as, once he gets appointee, we can definitely discuss further information and adjust his way. But he has the knowledge. He has been in the city of Los Angeles, and if we can probably give him an opportunity to speak, I will definitely like that to happen as well too, so he can kind of give more of his background education from the LA region.
Okay, so at this point, so you made,
Can I get some more clarification, because I'm a little confused?
Yes.
So,
Maybe I should
thank you.
give you some procedural advice. So there was the motion to approve 2. There was a substitute motion, but there was no second. So you have 2 choices. Is there a second to the substitute motion, which will take precedence, and then you vote on all 3? Or alternatively, the maker of the substitute motion could move to ratify the 3rd appointee. So it's your choice.
Yeah.
Either way works.
I just would like to get a little bit more clarification, because I think the qualifications for Mr. Zates speaks for himself, but I'd like to hear more from John. Is there more information that I'm not aware of regarding his views outside, his personal views? He's made views that might compromise his ability to serve on the planning commission, or?
Just as far as positions on obviously ongoing development project, which
Okay.
I mean we all have opinions and views
Sure,
on
okay.
these, whether we're on the council or in the community, and that's what this podium's for, is to come up here and express those views. I just want to be clear on once we come up here and then we're on the planning commission or on the council, that it's very different. We have a different role, and we have to be objective, and we have to review all the evidence, and we can't be biased, and those rights are protected. So I don't want, my concern is I don't want someone that is going to just come up and take a seat up here and be biased, and they don't have the ability to be objective. Not that it's wrong to have an opinion on those things. Like
Right.
you said, we all do, but are they going to be overzealous, and are they going to overstep their bounds in their role?
Yeah.
Here, I want to make sure that we have somebody that can be objective.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have enough concern to where I won't be able to support
Okay.
the appointment.
And that's what I wanted to hear. What do
That's
you-
really,
Yeah.
that's where
Okay.
I'm at on it.
Yeah, and I want to add to that too, like the rest of the planning commission qualifications as well too. Their background, their education background, do they have any planning commission compared to David Zates? Because that can definitely be biased, that he does have the qualifications and the rest of our planning commissioners might not have the qualifications for that, especially when he actually has a degree as well too, to actually prove it.
Madam Mayor, if I may be
Yes.
able to weigh in a little. To not have ever served in the planning commission or to have served in the planning commission is not necessarily criteria to use to select someone. When I was selected to the planning commission 4 years ago, I had no experience in the planning commission. So there's different folks from different walks of life with different life experiences, which is what makes it work, because they bring different perspectives. I agree with John that the issue that I have primarily is when one is outspoken on particular projects and those projects come before the city, now that planning commissioner may be ineffective to have a vote completely. And that is, in my opinion, not an effective planning commissioner. Secondly, when you have individuals who malign members of the city council or perpetuate negative comments that are not necessarily true, I think that speaks to character. So understanding that people on the planning commission and the city council, we have to work together, and we have to be able to have a sound relationship and accept that we're going to have difference of opinions. But when those are made public, then I believe it jades that individual from being, qualified to serve in that capacity.
I would certainly agree with that, and that's why I wanted more clarification on that. Can we, because the city attorney or the city manager able to comment on the factual level of those statements, and would that preclude someone's ability to serve on the planning commission?
It's not really a legal issue. I don't know anything about the candidate, and my opinion about different planning commissions is just is equal to your
Okay,
opinion.
yeah. Will, is there anything that I should know specifically?
There's nothing that I can speak to, you know, in my role as your city manager, you know, if there's things that were said politically, whether, you know, through any median, it's not appropriate for me to comment on that. Certainly it is appropriate for the council to have that discussion. And at the end of the day, you know, the city council can make decisions, based on whatever, opinions that they hold. You know, as long as, you know, I think that what I'm hearing, for example, is if there is a specific comment about a specific project that may come in front of the council, and if someone participates in that, then it participates in that project, in the deliberation of that project, I think that's where we're talking about being compromised, and whether or not, you know, that could open up, you know, this is maybe I'm getting into the city attorney's realm a little bit, but you know, there is precedent that shows that cities can get sued over that if someone participates. Now again, without any specific incidents, I can't speak to that, but if that were the case, then that could be an issue. But if it's just, you know, political differences of opinion and how things happen in a political cycle, that's out of my purview as your city manager. I should not get involved with those kind of things.
So at this point, you brought forth a substitute amendment, so you have to decide whether to go forward with that or what you're going to do.
I'll let my motion stand.
Okay.
But we can vote on the two, and we can do a separate one for the third. Can I revise mine? Okay.
Yeah, so once again, the two options you have is you could withdraw your substitute motion, vote on the two, the original motion, and then make another motion to ratify that particular candidate.
Okay. So I'll withdraw my motion at this time, and we can vote on the two.
Okay.
And can I have David States actually, if they have any questions, take an opportunity to ask him any questions that he has, so he can actually speak in behalf of himself.
Well, so under the Brown Act, he had that opportunity at the beginning of the
Right.
meeting. It's really dependent on the mayor, but since there's a motion on the floor, this is not the time for any input from the public. They had their opportunity before the motion was made. So I'd recommend you take the motion, and then we'll see if there's other motions. Right,
Okay. So.
So I'll take a motion.
Well, we can address
Oh,
the two
address it.
first.
yeah.
So the motion was to approve Mike Newsom and Mike Barron to the planning commission. We have a first and second. I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So now if you want to.
5-0.
Right now, the floor is open for additional motions.
So I'll take my motion for David States to be appointed for planning commission.
And you know, procedurally, if I could, before the motion is made, if it would be at your prerogative to decide whether or not you'd want public input for that before the motion is made.
Okay. Well, if he would like to speak, I don't mind him talking. We want everyone to have their voice.
So there's question about whether I'm biased. Well, let me tell you, I do have opinions. I have expressed those opinions, but I understand that as a council member and as a planning commissioner, there are rules we need to follow. Constitutional, the due process clause of the Constitution. We also need to follow California law and the general plan. One cannot just take property rights away from the property owner. The zoning is a property right. What he can build and what he cannot build is a property right. And that cannot be taken away with, as Eric and I have discussed, with a sweep of a wand. There's a due process. And we need to, and I have worked in economic development, and so I do know that there are projects that do require some compromise, but we also need to not compromise the surrounding citizens. It's a balance. And so, yes, I have expressed opinions, but I also understand as a previous city administrative staff member that we need to follow the law, and we need to give everybody an opportunity to be heard and an opportunity to put forth their proposal. But we also need to be advocates for the community in general. And that community is both the residents and the business community, existing businesses and businesses that want to come in. So I can tell you that I will follow the letter of the law, and I will be an impartial judge. Now, I may have my opinions and ask, like, for example, why do you need to move your property line so close to a citizen's property? Is that in conformance with our municipal code? Is that in conformance with the general plan? And I may drill down on this stuff to make sure that all the issues are brought forward. So then we can have a meaningful discussion and come up with an appropriate decision. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Although I think I know where the vote's going to go, I'll second Edgar Garcia's motion and put it to a vote.
And just to clarify, that's the motion to ratify the candidate, David Sates. And there's a second, so the council can vote.
So we'll call for the question. How do we
Maybe roll call.
Yeah.
Councilmember Cundiff,
No.
Councilmember Garcia,
Yes.
Councilmember Manley,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Cervantes,
Yes.
Mayor Molina.
No.
So at this time, that motion to appoint failed, to ratify failed. So there's still, the floor is still open. If you want to make another appointment, or you can defer that for another, 60 days?
Yeah, it's 60 days. It's 60 days from the date that we received the first application. So was that the day after? I guess the vacancy was created on December 10th, correct?
The certification date?
On the certification date. So it would be 60 days from that date. Yeah. So we have until February 8th. And actually, just from a practical standpoint, we will be, or Mayor Molina had stated that she'll bring back a nomination for Library Commission, so we can just make this a part of that same item on the next agenda on the January 21st meeting. Yeah.
So can I put a motion for my next nominee to be David Sates
Excuse me.
for the next one, for the next meeting, for appointees?
The motion would be made at the next meeting. You would not make that at this time.
Sounds good. So any bias between the council members, how would that take direction based on what has happened in the past for their votes?
I'm not sure I know your question. You're talking about the bias of the council members?
Yes.
Well, this is not the topic for like a bias of council members, and that's not on the agenda. But that's something we can confer after the council meeting, next steps before the, what's the January 21 meeting.
Madam Mayor, those that were appointed that are here present, remember we need to give them their oath of office.
Yes. So those commissioners that we approved tonight, would you please step forward and we'll swear you in? You want to get closer? Thank you. Could you all raise your right hand and repeat after me? I do solemnly swear or affirm your name. that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation. Good going. Or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. Thank you and congratulations. So you need to take the congratulations. The keys went off. Here. No, oh, we can share. This one's not working. Did yours go enough, too? Okay. No.
Oh, we can share?
Okay, so this takes us to item number 13, City Council Regional Organization Appointments. Ready?
Okay. Good evening again, Madam Mayor and City Council. Annually, the City Council reorganizes and selects the mayor and the mayor pro tem as presiding officers for the City Council, which you did at last week's special meeting. This is followed by an annual review of current memberships on various regional organizations, and adjustments are made as appropriate. In your packet, you were provided a list of our current City Council appointments, and Mayor Molina will make the appointments for the year 2025. City Manager Coble has requested an additional ad hoc be created for Summerwind Ranch specific plan. And also, as mentioned in the staff report, there is the possibility of a future Pass Area Transportation Committee, and that'll come before the council at a future meeting. Staff requests that Mayor Molina make appointments of one member and one alternate to the Riverside Conservation Authority, the Riverside County Transportation Commission, the Riverside Transit Agency T-Now Committee, and the Western Riverside Council of Governments / TUMP Zone Committee. Further, staff requests that Mayor Molina make appointments to the council ad hoc committees with 2 members each for the Yucaipa-Calimesa Joint Ad Hoc Committee, Budget Finance Standing Committee, Fire Ad Hoc Committee, San Gorgonio Pass Regional Water Alliance, Parks and Recreation Ad Hoc Committee, the Sheriff Services Ad Hoc Committee, Mesa Verde Specific Plan Ad Hoc Committee, and the Summerwind Ranch Specific Plan Ad Hoc Committee. Following the mayor's appointments, the list will be updated and provided to the City Council, and now I will turn it to Mayor Molina.
And if I may, before you make your appointments, Madam Mayor, I just wanted to clarify as to the reason that I was requesting the Summerwind specific plan.
Yes.
Ad hoc. So we obviously have one for Mesa Verde. It's a very big project. And I wanted to add the Summerwind one. Summerwind's, we do have a specific plan amendment going through for the residential piece for phases 2 through 5. I don't know why my mic's so bad tonight. And so, but there's also the complicating, within the Summerwind specific plan is, I don't know if it's going to work any better. I think it's finding the spot, but I'll give it a shot. All right. Okay, let's try this again. So with everything that's happening at the Oak Valley Town Center and all the complications with the retail site, I think that it's important to have council input and just updates with a subcommittee made up of council members, because there is a lot happening, and sometimes there are decisions that I think it's better for me to talk to that committee, about those and get kind of advice before we make some big decisions. So that's the reason for that one. And then the San Gorgonio Pass transportation, that's out of a request from the city of Beaumont. They wanted to create a 2x2x2 committee with the cities of Calamasa and Banning to talk about truck routes specifically, regional truck routes. But to me, I think it's probably a subset of a bigger issue that we need to talk about, which is transportation overall in the region. So I believe that truck routes certainly are a portion of what that committee should be doing. But ultimately, I think that the discussion should, and we can discuss this with them. I think it should be part of a bigger discussion about regional transportation within the pass area. So that will be coming at a future date, though. So that I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any questions about that before we start? Okay, so let's get started. RCA, so the first name I mentioned will be the lead, and then the second will be the alternate. So for RCA, I have Councilman Cervantes and Manley as the alternate. RCTC, I have myself and Eric Cundiff as the alternate. RTA, I have myself with Eric Cundiff as the alternate. RTA now myself, and then Eric as the alternate. For TUMF Zone Committee and WRCOG Committee, I have Jeff as the main, Cervantes as the main attendee, John is the alternate for both because they work together. For ad hoc committees, that requires 2 members each. So we'll start with Yucaipa Calamasa Joint Ad Hoc Committee, and that'll be myself and Councilman Cervantes. The Fire Ad Hoc Committee will be myself and Councilman Cervantes. Parks and Recs Ad Hoc Committee will be Councilman Manley and Cervantes. Sheriff Services Ad Hoc Committee will be Councilman Manley and Cundiff. Can't read my own writing here. Budget Finance Standing Committee will be myself and Councilman Cervantes. San Gorgonio Pass Regional Water Alliance will be Councilman Cundiff and then John Manley. Mesa Verde Ad Hoc Committee, Specific Plan Ad Hoc Committee will be myself and Councilman Cervantes. And lastly will be Summer Wind Ranch Specific Plan AD Hoc Committee, and that'll be Councilman Manley and Cundiff. And that completes. Yes. So at this point, we'll take a motion to approve and second and the positions, the assignments, the appointments.
I'll make a motion that we, what would the proper phrasing be, that we adopt or appoint?
Accept the
Appoint.
appointments.
Yeah, the appointments, accept the appointments, put forth by the mayor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's 5-0. Thank you very much. At this point, we'll go back to the agenda, and it's time for mayor and council member reporting of county and regional meetings. I'll start with Councilman Cundiff.
Thank you, Mayor. As I'm newly elected and appointed, I had no meetings that I was required to be at. However, was able to, and I will state and toot Will's horn on this one, was part of the Regional City Managers Forum on the 12th, and Will did a fantastic job expressing to all of the regional cities about what Calamasa was doing and different projects, and so it was really fun to be there. It was exciting to be there. Information was passed around, and he did a great job. So I was glad to be there. That's the only thing that I have.
Thank you. John?
Thank you, Mayor. I was not attending any regional meetings, but I do want to just thank all of the newly appointed commissioners for all all their service. So most of us have all come through a commission, one or another. So we all understand and appreciate all of your effort and time in those commissions, and it really does help and support the city and all that we do. So thank you.
Thank you. Jeff? Oh, sorry.
We're sharing the mic here. So I also don't have a report on any county or regional meetings or conferences, but also would like to welcome our new commissioners and returning commissioners. Thank you for your service. Definitely understand what's involved in that, being part of the Planning Commission and the Parks and Trails Commission for a long time. So thank you so much for what you do. That concludes my report.
As for me, I welcome all the new commissioners and the existing commissioners that got reelected.
Thank you. Okay, I've been quite busy. I'll try to go through this quickly. On December 5th, I attended LAFCO, and where they had they dealt with the Champions Drive realignment, which is the detachment from Calamasa and annex to Beaumont. On the 5th, also attended CALSTA, which is California State Transportation Agency, 3-day meeting in Riverside, where they listened to transportation commissions on transportation issues. And so I spoke on behalf of the City of Calamasa and RCTC to speak against the Climate Action Plan for Transportation Infrastructure, known as CAPTI, and draft actions. Many cities, including Calamasa, wrote letters as well as in person testifying. It was a 3-day meeting. It was grueling. It was many hours there, but very important. On December 7th, the Lions put out flags in honor of Pearl Harbor Remembrance. Also on the 7th, we had our fabulous Calamasa Parade. On December 9th, RCTC had a virtual I-10 workshop where they discussed future coordinated adaptive ramp metering and express lanes. And the PowerPoint was presented, and I will provide that to staff and council when it's available. There is currently a pilot program in Temecula where they're looking at ramp metering, which is to help with syncing off-going traffic to the signals, getting off the freeway to move traffic. And so that's expected to be ready in the fall of 25, so we'll be looking for that. December 9th, Yucaipa Unified School District invited me to attend to represent our city at their ribbon cutting. The gym now has a new HVAC system. It's so hot there, and they finally have a new air conditioning system. Many people spoke who were kids and went through there, are now older and have grandkids going there, and so they're very appreciative of that. On December 9th, Riverside County Cal Cities had their executive committee. It was a Zoom meeting, and they discussed their priorities for 2025 and selected meeting dates. December 10th, we were all here for the swearing-in ceremony, and our election was certified. On December 11th, RCTC had their commission meeting where they approved plans and specs, et cetera, for the state Route 79 realignment project, and they also elected their officers and executive committee members. On December 11th, RTA had their budget and finance committee where they discussed just routine business. And finally, on December 12th, attended the PAS-EDA city managers presentations where our city manager, as well as Beaumont, Banning, Yucaipa, Hemet, and San Jacinto city managers all spoke and gave updates on the city. So it was very informative, very well attended. It was at Tukwit, and we should feel very proud of our city manager. He did us proud. And so then my only comment is just a happy holidays and a happy New Year's. And congratulations to all the commissioners, and we do appreciate all that you do. We all started, I started Citizens Patrol, but we all started in planning commissions, and so it's a great city, and we always need citizen input, so thank you. So I'll turn it over to our city manager.
Well, thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. I do want to give a quick update, well, maybe not so quick, on the senior meal program. It's something that we've discussed from time to time, and so just for the benefit of our new council members, I do want to give some background. So back in November of 2023, we reported to the council the status of our Grab and Go senior meal program, and that program had been allowed under COVID protocol, but had been legally discontinued starting on July 1st, 2023. And so FSA, Family Services Association, they informed us that they would be returning in-person meals starting January 1st of 24. The council at the time gave us direction to work with FSA to identify ways to allow the grab-and-go program to continue as it become very, very popular. Fortunately, the program was allowed to continue without further discussion and additional funding. And since this program was a temporary program under COVID, I did reach out to all of our federal and state elected representatives to try and update the program to include a grab-and-go option going forward. Fortunately, Assemblymember Greg Wallace took up our cause, and I worked with his office to craft Assembly Bill 2410. AB 2410 passed the Assembly with unanimously 73-0, but unfortunately it died in Senate appropriations. And so we've continued to work with Assemblymember Wallace's office on a solution. And more recently, FSA a few months ago approached staff to again let us know that they would be returning to in-person meals. This time they told us it was due to funding shortages. The state had cut funding, according to FSA, significantly, and that FSA could not support their grab-and-go meal program at the current levels. Staff then got an estimate on that, and then in September of this year, the staff or the county or the council approved an amendment with our agreement with FSA to allow the city to basically fund the difference between what they had budgeted for meals for us and the actual meals cost at a cost of $40,000 for that quarter. We've continued to work with Assembly Wallace's office on a legislative fix. So staff has indicated to me that they will propose the legislation once again, but this time with the benefit of additional time, they will be able to get co-authors from the other side of the aisle to try to make this a bipartisan bill and hopefully make it easier to pass. But until there is a legislative fix, it appears that we've kind of run out of options at this point, unless we wanted to continue funding it. That is a pretty tall order to do that at about $14,000 to $15,000 per month for a city our size. And I know that there's been talk about trying to get donations and things like that, but donations on that scale are pretty hard to come by. We do have a call tomorrow, Darlene and I, with FSA to try to talk about ways to maybe extend it out just a little bit longer to give our seniors a little bit more notice. But in the meantime, though, we do want to have the senior community help us out with that legislation to, if they've been impacted by the program, to write letters of support for the legislation so that we can include that with that when it goes to all the committees and a vote of the legislature. So all those things together will hopefully bring a successful conclusion to this. But there could be a period of time that we will be returning to in-person meals here at the Senior Center. We're not sure exactly on the timing of that yet, but we're going to try to stretch that as long as possible. So I just wanted to give that update to the council. And that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Will. Would it be prudent for us to have those letters written and collect them? And is there a time frame that you would like to have them so they'd be effective?
Well,
Help
I
us
think
save the
that
program?
I think that that's going to occur. We're going to have further discussion with Greg Wallace's office in terms of the letter writing campaign.
Okay.
There are certain ways to provide letters of support within they have a thing where you can upload them, and so what we're going to encourage them is they'll provide them to us, and then we would upload them. We'll upload the letters for them to the legislative portal, so that they're part of the record. So my goal is that if, to the extent that FSA does communicate to their customer base that the program is going to be going back to in-person meals, what we can do is we can attach a letter to that from the city stating that we're going to be pursuing this legislation, and that here's how you can lend your support to it. So that's kind of our strategy at this point.
Yeah, I'm asking because we're not going to meet again until the 21st of January.
Oh, for the council to give official letters? No, there'll be time for that.
Okay.
Yeah, because the legislation, it'll take probably a few months. I'll probably have to go. The legislation session has to start first of all, and then the bill has to be introduced, and there's
Okay.
a 30-day period for that. So
Okay, so we
there's
have
plenty
time.
of time for that.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you. Great. Okay, well, thank you. So with that, I'll call the meeting to end at 7:01. Our next scheduled meeting is January 21 at 6 p.m. Everyone have a happy holiday and safe travels. The roads are pretty bad, so be careful on those roads, but they're working on them, so thank you very much and good night.